In this video, I'm going to be sharing other options apart from healthcare assistant jobs with visa sponsorship. A lot of people are applying for these jobs even when they have other backgrounds, other skills that are actually relevant in the UK. So if you don't have any degree, you don't have any background in healthcare, and you don't have any experience, but you do want visa sponsorship jobs in the UK, stay with me in this video because it is going to be mind-blowing. I've been reviewing a lot of CVs for people that are applying for healthcare assistant job with visa sponsorship, and I'm really surprised that some people that have that are accountants, that have IT backgrounds, engineering backgrounds, and so many degrees and all of that are still applying for these healthcare assistant jobs with visa sponsorship. And a lot of people are beginning to take advantage of the situation, offering one-to-one coaching, offering selling slots, and asking people to pay ridiculous amounts of money for them to get certificates of sponsorship, to get work permit, to get all of that and get healthcare assistant jobs. In most cases, they are actually serving people who don't really have, and they are looking for jobs, and they are taking advantage of them, and people are beginning to experience so many things that are not really good. So my goal for this video is also to show you other options that will change the game for you. So many of these jobs do not require extensive experience. They don't require any degree. Some of them that require degree, they also say that if you have experience as well, they will consider you. They can also sponsor your visa if you have the relevant skills. And again, these jobs as well pay a lot higher. Of people that are making this video are for people who are already in the UK, who moved with their family to the UK, maybe on study visa and all of that, and they are also joining the queue trying to get healthcare assistant job, because immediately you get to the UK, people that are there that don't know about other options will tell you, oh, healthcare assistant jobs will give you sponsorship, so even though you have study visa, then you still need to apply for healthcare assistant job. And guess what? People are still asking them to pay. Come on, and people are still telling them to pay for them to get the healthcare assistant job that will offer them visa sponsorship. This video is also relevant to other people that are applying from back home that want to get visa sponsorship jobs to the UK. But this time around, I'm going to share with you tips. I will share these job opportunities, these 4 different roles for you, and I will also lead you to the website where you can look for these jobs, and we will search so that you will see that these jobs, they exist and they are willing to consider overseas applicants. So if you are as excited as I am, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up so that many more people will know that there are other options for them, especially if they have degrees and they don't even have interest in healthcare. My first job is very interesting. If you know how to use the social media, if you know some basic computer skills, Excel, Microsoft Word, and you have a good relationship with people, this might suit you, because I believe that this is a job for so many people that are also looking for healthcare assistant jobs, but this one will even suit them the more, because maybe they don't even love to work with patients or people that are ill. So this particular job is called recruitment coordinator. So this recruitment coordinator is becoming very popular, not just in the UK, US, and so many other countries that are recruiting people in large volumes, especially internationally and even within their countries, because agencies are it is a cheaper option for them. Agencies actually cost them a lot. So agencies are supposed to help them to recruit people, and then they will pay them. But when they have their own staff helping them with international recruitment, domestic recruitment, and all of that, it makes it even easier. And these people are paid even more than carers, and in some cases it will give you that starting point to even move higher in your career, especially if you have this experience. So the recruitment coordinators, they are usually started on band 3. Based on my research, they are usually started on band 3, band 4, and it depends on the particular organization that you are working on, the particular NHS or hospital that actually recruits you. Okay, so these recruitment coordinators are basically paid to recruit other people, to make sure that people meet the requirements, conduct interviews, and in most cases also promote the organization, tell people about the job online, promote. So it is something a lot of people that are looking for healthcare assistants can actually do better in. Okay, so if you have a background in relationship with people in human resource, this is a suitable role for you. The second one is called so many things. So if I just make this video and tell you to go and look, you may be confused. So that's why I'm asking you to stay to the end of this video so that I will show you a demo as well. So it is called the supplies buyer. They also call it a procurement specialist. You called it materials manager, something like that. But in the hospital situation or in the healthcare organization, you usually have people that are responsible for the supplies, like the gloves, like, you know, everything that we use in the hospital, equipment, just making sure that the supplies are available. So these people, they don't need a particular degree, right? You don't need a degree. When I was looking through the qualifications and everything, I noticed that even with your basic secondary school certificate, you can actually get these roles, especially in the beginning. And maybe when you eventually get the job, you can start progressing based on the need and all of that. Maybe they require a particular skill, and they always offer training in the UK. So you always go for the trainings and everything that they need to. So good thing with these buyers and supplies is that they also start them on band 3, band 4, which is usually 23,000, 26,000 and above in the UK. So they even pay more than the carers and all of that. And this is a non-clinical role. You don't have a face-to-face interaction with patients that are ill or patients that need additional help. The third one, and an interesting one that do not require a degree, this one, first school living, like secondary school certificate and kind of little experience may actually get you at the door in this particular role. This role, I feel like many people are missing out by not knowing that these are actually in existence. When I was searching for this role, I saw that there are so many roles that are available for people in this particular world, and it's called the PA, the personal assistant. So it can be in the community, which is interesting. It can be in a healthcare setting. So the personal assistant is basically helping a particular person. It can be a GP, it can be a nurse, or it can be like in an office. You are a personal assistant to people that are already working. They're helping them to make sure that things are going on well. It can also be called, you can basically say it's an admin role. So if you have basic skills like Excel, computer skills like Excel, Microsoft Word, you know how to arrange things, you know how to manage schedules and all of that, like setting schedules and all of that, then this is a role for you. Guys, these are really interesting. You don't need to be a carer, you don't need, and what you need, you don't need a degree. I'm going to show you all the requirements that they usually list, and you can apply for these jobs from outside of the UK. And if you're already in the UK, maybe you moved with study visa, you don't have to go for healthcare assistant job with visa sponsorship. You can actually get one of these roles, and if you require work permit, you can ask them. Once you are able to deliver, once you're able to provide value in that organization, and you know if it is NHS, then you know, because they have that ability to sponsor, you can request for that and you might get lucky. So guys, personal assistant is my number 3, and you don't need a degree, you don't need extensive experience, you don't need a healthcare background for this particular personal assistants. You may be wondering, how much are they paid? They are actually, the ones I saw, they actually start them on band 4. I know that in some cases you might find those that will start them at band 3 because of the qualification involved here, but I've seen ones that they start them on band 4, 26,000, 23,000 and above. That means they even pay them more than carers. Guys, personal assistants, the experience is something you can actually say. If you have experience on Excel and all of those admin work, scheduling, well, this job is for you. If you don't have a degree, but you have this form of experience that I know a lot of people do have, that means this has just widened the kind of job that you can be applying for, and they can also offer visa sponsorship. The number 4, the very interesting one again that I want to share with you, is called assistant bed coordinator. So I heard this particular job from someone, and I researched. I was like, bed coordinators, they do require a degree, they do need experience, because they need to know where a particular patient should go and all of that. They do need healthcare background. But then I saw the assistant bed coordinator. So the assistant bed coordinator is supposed to also work with the bed coordinators to make sure that they fill their beds, that patients are going to the right place. In the healthcare area, they usually have people that coordinate where the patients go, like the normal flow of patients when they come to the ER or admission and all of that, where they need to go, where they have vacancies, like where the patient just left from, and if they need to fill that particular space and all of that. Human beings are responsible for that. And guess what? You don't need a degree to be an assistant bed coordinator. In some cases, even the bed coordinators, they don't need to have a healthcare background. They just need that ability to coordinate the flow, to know that a patient was just discharged and that bed is now available, how to coordinate the whole thing. And I believe one thing I know about UK is that when you get there, they will give you their own training, regardless of your own background and the training that you have. If you have the zeal, if you have the attitude to relate with people, if you know that it's something that you can do, they will just provide the training. And over time, just a little while, I love the way they said assistant. So that means you have someone that you work with, somebody that will show you how the thing is done. And once you're able to do that well, guess what? This job is something that can be fulfilling if you don't want to work face to face with ill patients or people that need personal care. So guys, these are my 4. I've talked about the personal assistant, bed coordinator, recruitment coordinator, and the buyer. Okay, so these are my 4, and these are jobs that are interesting. You don't need a degree, you don't need extensive experience, you don't need a healthcare background, guys. So the website that we are going to be exploring is jobs.nhs.uk. So if you go onto that website, it's good for you to register, and so that you'll be able to track the jobs that you have already applied for, and they will be sending you as well like job alerts and all of that. But you don't even need to log in or register for you to explore these jobs. So this is just when you get into this place, just click on search for jobs. So we are going to search for all these jobs that we have already mentioned. Okay, so I'll go to, let's say, personal assistant. I've tried to search before. So if we say personal assistant, or let me type it so you see. So if you say personal assistant, all right, so you see this one. Okay, and then you click on search. So when you click on search, so many options will come. You have personal assistant, and this one is admin. So personal assistant can be different. Sometimes it's in the hospital, so it's a GP like I mentioned, or community. So you see this one, admin, and this one is general psychiatry. And then you see personal assistant, community health services, personal assistant, corporate, personal assistant, corporate admin. So assuming we go on to this one, this is actually an NHS trust. So if you go here, the next thing is for you to go to continue. So when you click on continue, to now show you everything about the job. So this one is public health Wales, and then it's personal assistant. If you see, there are a ton of jobs here. So if you read through the person's specification and you see that you have experience in that field and all of that, so this one says working with Microsoft Suite, knowledge of administrative and organization procedures acquired through training and maybe relevant experience. So it can be anything at all. So the essential here is NVQ level 3, okay, or equivalent level of experience. So this one does require some form of experience. If you have worked in any office, and remember they just said working with Microsoft Office Suite. So if you have worked with Microsoft Office Suite, they might not even bother about whether you have a degree or anything. And they even said NVQ level 3 or equivalent level of experience. Okay, so if you have NVQ level 3 but you don't have experience, you can get here. So as you can see, there is no degree here, so you don't need to have a particular degree to be able to get the job. And they mentioned certificates of sponsorship. They said applications from job seekers who require current skilled worker sponsorship to work in the UK will be considered alongside others. And then remember that this is tier 2 visa, right? So you need to meet a certain salary range. So their salary range is £23,000 to £26,000 per year. That means hands down, like, this is, if you get this job, you'll be able to qualify for certificates of sponsorship. So guys, this is just one of them. If you go back to that place, you will see a lot of other personal assistant. If you check the admin one, check the corporate one, check another one, you might notice that they don't even need NVQ level 3. Maybe it's a different one. So guys, go through all of this. So it is very easy to go through, and don't, if you, this is what you really want, hop onto this website and do your research, knowing and applying and hoping that. Now remember, I'm going to share tips also, especially when you get messages that they are not recruiting from your country or they're not recruiting from abroad, what you can say, the next step that you can take with those particular kind of responses. Okay, so yeah, so if we go back here and say search for jobs, all right, and then we search for, this time around we search for buyer or procurement, or let's say buyer, right? Buyer, so okay, let's just say buyer. So if you go to buyer, you also see buyer admin. This one you see purchasing and supplies. Purchasing and supplies. You have junior buyer, we have supplies buyer, we have purchasing officer. So they have different names for it, right? So procurement, you can just say buyer, procurement, and then you see a lot of, so let's say supplies buyer, procurement. Okay, so supplies buyer, procurement, that's the second one. If you go here, this is also Nottingham University Hospital. So I really love this one, and I'm going to send to someone that is in Nottingham. Okay, so this one is really cool. I'm going to send to someone that just traveled recently to Nottingham. Maybe the spouse or anybody will be able to apply for this. So if you go here, they also, somebody that requires visa sponsorship, they might be able to sponsor them. Okay, and let's see what is the salary. So the salary for this buyer is between 21,000 to 23,000, and it's band 3. And then you remember, if you go back to that buyer, you see that there are so many categories. Some of them actually stand from band 4, and it means that this salary range will be able to get your feet at the door, and you can actually get a certificate of sponsorship with this salary range. And if you go to the person specification, you will be surprised. They only need you are educated to GCSE level. My goodness. So you see, the essential person specification is that secondary school level, guys, and then you have good working relationship or working knowledge of tender procurement, good communication skills. Remember, guys, that this visa actually needs English proficiency, so you will need to write IELTS at all. 5-6 can get a visa for you. Even 4, I think 4.5 can get a visa for you, the certificate, the skilled worker visa. So guys, so you need to just go through and see, apply and see the one that actually works for you. So this supplies buyer, procurement, that's another one. Okay, so let's go and search for recruitment coordinator. So if you go to the same search and say recruitment coordinator, that's what I searched here, it will show you this one. So you see recruitment coordinator. Usually I don't go to the red ones, because sometimes if you see the one that has red, it means they want somebody that is already in that same organization to do it. So they want someone that is already working in that trust to apply. So usually you go to the ones that doesn't have any red. So this one that is open, if you click on it, it will also show you the requirements as well. So this one is the one I actually usually think like maybe it requires more experience, but then it's still NVQ level 3 or GCSE. All right, irrelevant subject or significant equivalent skills and proven experience. This one does need experience, but if you have experience at all recruiting or working in sales, or that environment where you have to speak to potential candidates and all of that, this one is good for you. Okay, so they also says certificate in personal practice. If you're already in the UK, just don't always focus on healthcare assistant roles. These are the roles that people are also getting, and they are also considering people who require certificates of sponsorship or who require skilled worker visa to work in the UK. Okay, so this is another option. And remember, guys, there are so many terms that they use, so you want to go back and search for as many of these openings that are here. So this one says international recruitment coordinator. Yay! So if you're already someone that is not from the UK, this one too is a good one. So guys, this is West London NHS Trust. They need an international recruitment coordinator, so you can actually apply for this role, and this is a band 5 position. And look here, guys, they also consider people who need skilled worker visa. So even nurses, if you want to go into this kind of role as well, and you're an international nurse, I believe that they usually like even international nurses to get this particular kind of role. And you know, the deadline for this one is December. So if you know any nurse that wants to transition into something like this, the pay is between £27,000 to £32,000. Guys, this is really cool. And yeah, if you go to this one, they also say experience of working as an allied health professional, like a support worker, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, speech language therapy, like current registration if it's required. But there are other ones that are maybe assistants or something like that. Okay, so you can actually search for those. Assistant, recruitment coordinator, or something like that. Okay, so this is really cool. They also have care coordinator, but then we are talking about recruitment coordinators. So guys, the last but not the least is the bed coordinators, right? So if you click bed coordinator, you see there have other terms as well. Bed coordinator or bed manager. I think they also call it bed manager in the trust that I worked before. So you can actually say bed manager instead of bed coordinator. So you see, that's the one I said that actually I was thinking, because our bed managers there sometimes they are nurses or like people that are already in healthcare as well. So but I noticed that they also have assistant bed coordinator. Okay, so I would say if you are applying from abroad, maybe assistant bed coordinator, or if you are new in the UK and your spouse needs a job, like you're a nurse or you moved as a healthcare assistant in the UK and you came with your family, and then your spouse can actually apply for this. So this is called, even this was said, assistant patient flow practitioner, discharge coordinator, but then I would say the assistant bed coordinator. So if you, this one is under mental health. So if you go here, this one is by Humber Teaching NHS Trust, and it's closing soon. But even if all these ones close, more of these are here. If you go to NHS Jobs, my goodness, you continue to see this. I'm like surprised when I was researching. So they said diploma or equivalent appropriate qualification, or example a foundation degree. So they don't need a BSc like this one. They often say or NVQ. So if you have any form of training after your secondary school diploma, these are the jobs that you can actually apply for. See that? So this one said desirable, it can be experienced working within a clinical setting. So if you have been working in a clinical setting as a care worker or anything, this is actually good. And then they also consider you with others. So all these ones that we discussed in this video, guys, these are other options. There are so many more other options, and I'll continue to research on this, because even this whole healthcare assistant jobs with visa sponsorship, when it eventually ends, because this is supposed to be like a 1-year program, you will not say all hope is lost, because there are many more opportunities, but people are not applying for these ones. Everyone is focusing on the healthcare assistant job with visa sponsorship. Even like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, people that are already in the UK as well are competing with everyone that are still back home. So why not also channel your energy in this kind of ones and see if it works for you. So guys, if you like this video, please share with someone, share with a friend that is already in the UK and struggling, share with all these students that are struggling to get jobs or to convert their visa to skilled worker visa. And if you're still abroad and you don't really love the face-to-face clinical with ill patients, but you still want to go work in the UK, why not give these ones a try and sell yourself in the best possible way? Have a very good CV. If you have, like, present yourself in the best possible way, because you are competing with people that are already in the UK. But guys, these are all the options, and many more are coming your way. So if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, subscribe and ask your questions, join the Telegram channel. Let's continue this discussion, and I wish you all the very best. Bye.